Good morning everyone and welcome to the first edition of Expedition Music. My name is Unison Mist, bit of a weird name, but I like it. Today is a new day and I got the day off of work, so I thought let's try something new, something exciting, and today we are going to talk about lo-fi music and how you can make your own beat using FL Studio. But first I gotta take a shower. I literally just got out of bed and the room's still a mess, so I'll see you in a little bit.
I got black, I got white, what you want? Hop outside a ghost and hop up in a Phantom. I know I'm about to blow, whoa, whoa, I ain't done. They try to take my flow, I take the ass for ransom. I know that I'm gone, they see me blowing up, now they say they want some. I got two twin Glocks, turn you to a dancer.
Alright, so for this video I set up two goals. The first goal is to show you guys how you can make your own lo-fi beat using FL Studios and using only stock plugins. The second goal is, since it's my first video on YouTube, I will try my hardest to keep this video from being the most cringiest thing you've ever seen on YouTube. So before I show you the basics of lo-fi music production, what is lo-fi music, and for that matter, where did it come from? The term lo-fi has existed since 1950, shortly after the term hi-fi was accepted. Lo-fi just meant that it was low of quality, something to avoid. There was virtually no appreciation for the imperfections of the lo-fi music among the critics until the 1980s. Lo-fi music started being a thing around the 90s, but the term was used more in context of the do-it-yourself music, or amateur music. It wasn't until 2008 that the Oxford Dictionary adopted a new definition for lo-fi, it meaning a technologically unsophisticated or unpolished style as a deliberate aesthetic choice. In 2017, lo-fi music became more and more associated with warm and punchy sounds. Lo-fi music is meant to be relaxing and warm, simple, yet interesting. And most of all, it seems to have a fresh sound that feels familiar and old at the same time. Alright, no more talking, let's just get into it. So let's get started. I just opened up FL Studio, and before we start doing anything, we need to figure out what BPM this song is going to be. So the best way for me to figure out the BPM of a song is to right click on the metronome and hit tab, and you'll see this thing in the screen, and what it does is it allows you to tap along with the rhythm in order to find the correct beat. I'll show you how it's used. So let's round it down to 80 because I want it to be a little bit more mellow. I want to make sure that we get that relaxing BPM, and it's usually around 80. The first thing that you want to do is pick the correct sounds right from the beginning. Keep in mind that we only use the FL Studio plugins. So what that means is that you don't have to download additional plugins to make this particular beat. I'm just gonna click around. Let's see. So for the beginning I picked these three sounds. It's the kick, pretty straightforward, simple kick. The snare, it needs to be a little bit organic. And this hi-hat, again, really simple hi-hat. Really short, not too much, not in your face, elegant. So now that we've picked our sounds, we can start building the beat. And we'll start with the hi-hat. I like to record the hi-hat instead of clicking it in. And just follow the metronome. So now that we've recorded the hi-hat, which sounds like this. As you can see, the recording of the hi-hat is a little bit sloppy. To make sure this beat has the most organic lo-fi feel, we're not gonna correct this and leave the imperfections in. So the next thing I like to do is to make a melody. So I've seen most producers who use samples of other songs to make their melody. We are going to try and make our own melody using the close grand of the instruments from the Fruity stock plugins. And it sounds like this. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Again, to make it feel more organic, the first chord of the piano has a roll to it, and it sounds like... You can create this effect easily by making sure that each note of the chord is coming after another one in an upwards progression. So the second thing I like to do for my piano is just EQ out some of the notes that I don't want. Next up is the snare, and we're gonna keep it simple and just let it hit every 2 steps. So the snare was feeling a little bit too dry for my taste, so I added a little reverb to it. It seems like it's being played in a roomy environment, and that's an effect common to lo-fi hip hop. So the final element of lo-fi music is the kick, and I added a little bit of EQ on this as well, just to drown out the high frequencies that we don't need in the kick. And as you can see, I boosted the low frequencies a little bit more, just to create that punchy effect in lo-fi music. So a technique that I hear all the time in lo-fi music is the pitch bend effect. And in order to achieve that, we'll create an automation clip for the pitch of the close grand piano. So here we have the automation clip, and we're just gonna click around. It'll look something like this. So the last thing we'll add is some background noise. So what most producers use is a final plugin. Last week I released a new song on Spotify. It's called Separation. You can check it out. There's a link in the description. So for a part of that song I used a rain track, and I tried it on this beat. It ties it all together. I really like the way this is turning out. So I'm adding that in right now, and I just want to finish off the beat for a little bit, and in the end of this video I'll let you listen to the finished beat.